problems with speaking to the common man. Hi Sean, Aaron AS1 aka Spider. Now a little while ago you did a video where you talked a lot about your desire to speak to the common man. You expressed a desire to speak to the common man. I think the video was Free the Superego. I actually think that the common man can go quietly and get fucked. I've met the common man. I think the common man, generally speaking, is an idiot who is stuck in a certain place. It's kind of reminds me of the way people have, tremendous respect for animals compared to people, and they see something in animals that people don't have. And as much and all as I love animals and all the rest of it, animals are animals. They are exactly what they are. They're not cute, furry, four-legged people. They're delightful, magnificent creatures all in their own right. And we shouldn't really be trying to make them something other than they are. I had a lecturer at college who used to give me and a couple of mates absolute crap because we used to try and put human emotions onto animals, and he was trying very hard to have philosophical, intelligent adult conversations with 16-year-olds. Always a huge mistake. And he used to get quite annoyed with us because we would try to make our arguments by saying, animals feel this and animals feel that. Well, of course, animals feel things, but they don't feel things in the same way that humans do. And I'm here to say that the common man doesn't actually feel things the way that human beings should. So trying to, get to the common man, I don't know how to say this without sounding like an arsehole. Forget about the common man. The common man is an arsehole. I basically am an arsehole, so I probably is sort of silly trying not to sound like one. But the common man basically gives me the shits, alright? And I understand that you want to elevate average people and try to get them to think. I felt the same way. During my lifetime, I have tried very, very hard and to get through to people or to try to help them in some way. I know that sounds patronising, tough luck. There have been times when I have come up with some really interesting ideas, money-making ideas, and tried to appeal to the common man amongst my friends because I figured they were in the same tough situation I was in, and I really wanted them to get out of that situation that they were in, and because I liked them. The problem was whenever you approach the common man with an interesting idea that involves change, and I hate change, by the way, so I kind of get that bit, but trying to get them to move from where they are to where they need to be in order to see what it is that you're talking about, or to just generally take a chance, they go all, and even though they're in a bad situation, it's kind of like that old joke about the dog, it's howling, and the guy says to the other guy, why is your dog howling? And the guy says, oh, he's sitting on a nail. And the other guy goes, well, why doesn't he move? And the other guy who owns the dog says, well, it doesn't really hurt that much. And that's the problem with the common man, is that it doesn't really hurt that much. And until they really get a good kick in the ass or something goes really fucking wrong, they just sit on the nail and whinge all the bloody time. And there comes a point where it's just not worth your time and your effort to get involved with these people. I think it's actually, at some level, depending on where your head is at the time, a little bit dangerous to get involved with these people because they do tend to drag you down. There's a great line in one of the West Wing videos where they're preparing a speech for, he's going to run for president again or whatever, and there's a whole lot of words in that speech that are, there's a couple, I thought I knew a lot of words, but there's a couple in there I wasn't sure what they meant either. And there was a huge debate amongst the staff, and they all said, you can't say this, because the common voter or the common man or whatever won't know what you're talking about. And they went backwards and forwards, and they carried on. And the president character comes in and says, if we want to be, if we want to lead, then we shouldn't be frightened of the fact that we understand what these words mean, and we shouldn't be frightened to use big words. You know, people can always go away and look it up. You know, we'd rather sort of bring people up to our level rather than sink down to theirs. Again, don't get me wrong when I say that. I'm not talking about, you know, dragging people down or being on other people's levels or whatever. I'm just saying, think about this. Now, if you disagree with me, feel free to tell me to get fucked, alright? I mean, I don't mind. I really don't. This is just my opinion, and I really admire the kind of desire you've got to sort of get through to these people. And you want to do stand-up comedy, boy, are you going to meet the common man. It doesn't get much more common than the people that, a big chunk or percentage of the people that turn up to comedy venues, because they're kind of not there for the comedy, they're just there to get pissed and to give you shit. It's sort of, you know, cheap entertainment for people. I don't understand people like that. I've got written down here, I don't remember why, but anyway, it's a good point. Fear. Most people won't get out of their own way. There's a paralysing aspect to fear. People tend to get stuck and rooted on the spot because they're too frightened to sort of move off in whatever direction other than the fucking spot they're stuck on at the time. It's a horrible bloody thing, and I feel for people that are in it, but the trouble is, when you're in that, it's a waste of time anybody talking to you because you're too fucking frightened to think, and so you're not really open to ideas unless you've got to the point where you really start to get desperate. And there's something to be said for desperation, because it really motivates people. They'll get off their ass if they're frightened enough. They either knock themselves off because it gets too much, or they decide to take action and get the bloody hell out there and do something about changing where they're at. Okay, you mentioned big motherfucker ideas. I agree. A lot of the stuff you're talking about is really interesting. Makes me think. I don't necessarily agree with everything or the direction you go in, but it definitely makes me think, and they are big motherfucker ideas. Don't, for fuck's sake, don't dumb it down for people. Don't feel that you don't feel the need to dumb this shit down. Get stuck in. Use the words you need to do. Head off in the directions that you need to head off in. Stir the fuck people up. I mean, get involved in it. Don't dumb it down. Make them come up to where you are. People that are even vaguely interested are probably in that sort of frame of mind anyway. If they're not, they'll come along for the ride. Just, you know, don't. People are not going to learn, they're not going to move, they're not going to improve unless it's their decision. Having been an educator all my life, one of the very first things you learn very, very early on is that nobody ever taught anybody anything. No one will learn unless they want to learn. All you can do is to help people. Facilitate was the word I used to use. I was never a teacher, I was a facilitator. I know it sounds like this, but it's really true. It's not semantics, it's very true. You've got to take people from where they are to where they want to be. But if they are stuck where they are, you are wasting your time trying to get them to move. Unless people ask questions, put their hand up and say, yes, I'd like to know, yes, I'd like to move, whatever, you're wasting your time. Right? And you don't want to get bent out of shape about that. It always used to really annoy me that I couldn't get through to everybody, or, you know, whatever. Or that, you know, I had a bunch of kids in front of me. Kids are great because they naturally want to learn and all the rest of it. But it used to be very frustrating that I couldn't teach them stuff that I couldn't teach the whole group. Yeah, teachers' college, they talk about, you know, if you can get a third of the kids to listen to you at any one time, or if you can get between 1/3 and 2/3 of any given group to learn, you know, whatever skill it is you're trying to teach them, you're doing really well. Fuck that! If I've got X number of people in front of me and it's a really important skill that they're going to need to move on or to be happy or whatever in life, I want them all. Fuck this 1/3, 2/3 shit. There should be ways to get through to people, to motivate them, to get them to that level of understanding and learning so that they can move on and be happier people. There's got to be ways. Fuck this 1/3, 2/3 shit. Somewhere in your video you must have talked about bullshit suffering, and I've got down define bullshit suffering. I'd really like to know what you mean by bullshit suffering. Okay, it's simple as that. The common man? What the fuck?